Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I've got 3 obscure yet terrifying cryptid encounters to share with you. But before we get into these encounters, a couple links I'd like to share. First, this company does not sponsor me in any way. I just think that it is the most amazing gun company, and I want you guys to go check out their products that they have. They're called Q Firearms out of New Hampshire, and they have 2 sick guns. The Honey Badger, which is a AR-15 styled rifle designed to be amazing. Like, this thing is 300 blackout, gorgeous. It's one of a kind. And their bolt action fix, which is sick as well. They don't half-ass anything here. Give that link a look over and check out their products. They've got some amazing stuff. And if you're going to go cryptid hunting, I can't think of 2 better guns to go in the woods with. Now, on to my links. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. Those links are in the description below, as well as my second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything that you're into, feel free and go listen to those stories. You may just like what you hear. I also started a GoFundMe page a while back to help raise some money for urban exploration, cryptid hunting, and ghost hunting. That link is in the description as well. So far, I have an SLS cam, an EVP recorder, and some trail cams. I'm looking forward to doing these videos very, very soon. And with that, guys, enough of the jibber jabber. Let's get on with these encounters, shall we? Today's first encounter is a possible Dogman encounter, and it brings us all the way to the Netherlands. I've been living in Brabant, the Netherlands, for a while now, a few kilometers before the border of Belgium. A few weeks ago, I went on holiday to Belgium. A few of my family members live there, so I stayed the night. I'm very fond of walking and like to do it every day. I went for a walk that Tuesday evening. After having walked for about an hour, I finally came to a bridge. It was very quiet, almost unusual. This I didn't find strange, just very peaceful. I stopped just at the end of the bridge to get some water from my backpack. At that moment, I heard something that sounded like iron coming against something. Something like an iron chain. I heard it very softly the first time and thought it was coming from afar. So I thought nothing special of it. After a few seconds, I heard it for a second time. This time it sounded very close, so I wondered what it was. There was nobody around as far as I could see. I started not to worry, it was just strange. I think about that time I thought it was a homeless person or just something under the bridge. After drinking my water and enjoying nature for a moment, I heard it again. It was about 10 at night. I heard the same weird sound, this time under the bridge, and I decided to keep listening until I heard some sort of howl. I remember falling back because I was so shocked. It was a weird whine, one you expect from a dog or a wolf. It sounded very dull, but heavy. I was very shocked because I couldn't identify the sound. I actually stopped because I was so scared. Or something, it was just a different feeling. So much fear that you just remain standing. At that moment, I looked down and saw a dog-like creature that was walking on 2 legs. It was huge, so I knew it wasn't a dog. It was black and had some kind of small wings on its back, and kind of like a chain on its leg, if I remember correctly, on its left leg. I think there was water under the bridge because it was wet. At that moment, he turned around and looked into my eyes. They were dark eyes. His head looked a bit like a big wolf. At that moment, I knew I had to run. I stumbled a few times and therefore sprained my ankle. I've never seen anything like this. I told one person who lives in the neighborhood, and they said that what I saw was real. He mentioned some sort of name, but I don't really remember. I thought about sharing this for a very long time because I have nightmares about it still. I'm so glad that I lost it, and I hope somebody knows what I saw. Sorry for the poor English. English is my second language. Today's second encounter brings us back to the U.S. in southern Missouri. I live in the deep woods in southern Missouri. The nearest civilization outside a trailer house down the road is a gas station town a couple of miles away. I've lived here since I was 6 months old and spent my days in the woods. I don't remember a time where I don't know the winding paths and clearings like the back of my hand. There were always stories of something in the woods. A local tribesman told a tale of a spirit that wandered through the woods at night. I was deeply invested in the story of ghosts and monsters and that kind of sort of stuff, so the tribesman tale was pretty run-of-the-mill. I didn't think much of it until a few years ago. One night in around 2010, I was walking the usual trail and got a feeling that something wasn't right. It was like I was walking 3 feet behind my body. It was the sound of snapping branch that brought my body and mind back together. But it wasn't a twig or a small limb. It was a large oak branch about as wide as me. It hit the ground with a hard thud. After the woods became completely silent, no owls or coyotes howling, not even a night breeze. The only sound was my own stunned breathing. Out of the darkness, 2 glowing yellow eyes looked directly at me from the shadows. They were several yards down the trail, yet still seemed several feet off the ground. A low, thundering growl came from the same direction. It was like a growl of a tiger mixed with a bear. I wanted to run back home, but my legs wouldn't budge. My breathing picked up and became more and more like gasping for air. The growling stopped as the creature started to turn around and go deeper into the woods, showing me its form in the moonlight. It didn't seem of this world. I can only describe it as a black mountain lion with the head of a grizzly bear. It looked like it hadn't eaten in a month. It was nothing more than skin and bones. Only when I was alone again in the woods would my legs let me sprint back home and lock myself in the room with a survival knife. Occasionally, on the quiet nights of the year, I can hear it outside of my window, and the same eyes from that night appear out of the darkness. I never go outside without my knife anymore, even during the day. I've had several friends that have come over for the day and go home at night and tell me how they feel like they're being watched from outside. Today's third and final encounter. Before anything, a bit of background. I'm not willing to give out my name or the county that I live in, but I do live in Colorado. I'm posting this simply because I'm not absolutely sure what happened. Our family was taking a trip up the mountain, specifically to a cabin owned by my aunt and uncle. Near this cabin is a discontinued railroad project, which even tunneled through the mountain. When this happened, it was near the end of the winter months. The result was me spending much more time researching cryptids. Alright, now to the actual story. The entire day had felt off to me. We went on a hike and I couldn't hear any birds or animals. And when we were turning around, I started getting excited because I smelled something coppery. Thought it might be copper. The only thing that deterred me was this feeling like if I went to look for it, I wasn't coming back. It was like a sixth sense. If I feel it, I don't do it. I didn't think it was blood or anything related, but I felt it wasn't safe to chase that smell. This hike was to the eastern entrance of the discontinued railroad tunnel. Then, back to the cabin. My parents wouldn't let me go to that tunnel whatsoever, as in the second I stepped in within 10 feet of it, they were getting uneasy and telling me to back away from it where the rocks may fall. But they weren't looking at me. They were staring at a pile of rocks taller than the others, illuminated by a light from the other side. The walk back was tense and quiet. I was the only one trying to initiate conversation as we were just leaving the edge, and when I started smelling the copper. As we walked back, my dad kept glancing behind us at random intervals. It was only that night that I actually noticed anything while I was there. There was a one-bedroom, perfect for a family of 4, but it had one window. I never trusted that window, and I was right not to. That night, my parents were up much longer than usual, but stayed silent. After they fell asleep, I was pondering on their weird behavior. And at what I could guess was close to 2 a.m., I felt something. The room cooled down, and I felt horribly cold for a moment. I felt pure dread, and along with the chill, I could almost feel what seemed like hunger of some sort. Burning, it was there. Then I felt it, the same feeling. If I don't do this, I won't get a chance to correct the mistake. So I got up as high as I could and jumped off the top bunk, where I was supposed to sleep. Then I turned on the lamp and pointed at the window while my lamp was in my hand. Whatever it was, we had a mutual feeling of, no, I don't like this one. It was pale in the light, and my fear probably made me the same color. All I could see in the window was a nearly white head with pits for eyes. No lips, slightly larger and sharper than normal, blood-stained teeth, as well as its thin yet broad shoulders and a single blood-red hand with abnormally long fingers that ended in needle-like points, which was hovering, poised to shatter the window. A few seconds after the light hit it, it opened its mouth and let out this muffled scream, blocked slightly by the window, then vanished into the night. The scream woke everyone up, and I was standing there in dark, pointing the lamp at the window, looking horrified. My parents finally got me to sleep. Don't really know how they managed that, but the next day, while we were heading out, I looked at the window from outside and realized something even more horrifying. This thing had to be at least 8 feet tall, just to have been able to look at the bottom of the window, because there's a ditch around the edge of the cabin. We took one last hike around 9 a.m., and when we looked back at the tunnel, the rocks in the tallest pile had shifted. There was now a deer antler sitting near the top of the shifted pile, and there were now pools of a shiny liquid in the cave. The scent of copper was all around the area, and now the fish in the nearby stream was not surfacing for air or insects. I'd like to know what I saw that night, but I'm not sure. Next winter, me and 3 of my friends are going back up to that cabin to go hunting. 3. Terrifying Cryptid Encounters. Wow. The first one, that spun me for a loop. Instantly you think Dogman, but then there's the mention of the wings. I don't know too much about Netherland lore or European cryptid lore. I'm gonna have to start looking into that. The second story, that just big creature with a mountain-like lion body and bare head. Dogman for me. I don't know. But that one smelled and sounded like a dogman. The third story, all I can think of is Colorado, woods, winter, mountains, Wendigo. That's all I can think of, I nothing else. I don't know. Maybe albino yeti, I don't know. But Wendigo for me. I'm hoping you guys can shed some light on that too. I'd like to hear what you guys think. Let me know. And don't be afraid to check out Q Centerfire Rifles. And also, I want to thank everybody for all your support. I hit 5,300 subscribers last night. I just hit 5,000 like a week and a half ago. You guys are awesome. Thank you, and farewell.